The midday sun fell heavily on the tin roofs of the Trécheville neighborhood. Ibrahim Traoré, in a tailored suit, designer glasses, hand on the wheel of his air-conditioned SUV, waited for the light to turn green. He had an important meeting in 15 minutes with Lebanese investors, and he hated being late. But that day, something unusual caught his attention. A dirty man, hair disheveled, approached the cars with an uncertain gait. He held a half-empty water bottle in one hand and extended the other in silence without saying a word. Car horns blared. The smell of the street rose into the air. Grilled fish, fuel, sweat, life. Ibrahim was about to look away as he always did. And when their eyes met, for a fraction of a second, then two, a cold shiver ran down his spine. His eyes, he knew them. That face, despite the wrinkles, the years, it was him. Sidou. Sidou Konate, his brother in heart, his friend of all days, of all the mischief, of all the dreams, disappeared since the year of the baccalaureate as if swallowed by the city. They said he had left the neighborhood, that he had gotten lost on the street or worse, that he had died. But there he was in front of him, begging, the light turned green. The cars behind began to honk. Ibrahim did not move. Sidou had also recognized him. His eyes widened, full of a mixture of shame and hope. But he said nothing. He stepped back, ready to flee. Then Ibrahim did something he had never done in 15 years of career, of social climbing, of meetings and contracts. He turned off the engine, opened the door, and got out. In the middle of traffic, under the horns, under the curious looks of other drivers, he approached Sidou. "Is that you, Sidou?" he asked, his voice broken. Sidou lowered his eyes, then slowly nodded. Ibrahim opened his arms wide and without thinking, he took him in a strong, awkward, but real embrace. This moment, filmed by a passerby, would soon set the whole country ablaze, and it was only the beginning. The restaurant was modest, 2 streets away from where everything had changed. Ibrahim had insisted on settling there, away from prying eyes. Sidou, still silent, seemed foreign to every gesture, as if rediscovering normality after a long exile. The waiter watched them from the corner, intrigued by the striking contrast between the elegant businessman and the one wearing worn sandals and patched pants. Ibrahim, across from him, could not stop looking at him. "Where have you been, Sidou? Why didn't you ever give any sign of life? We thought you were dead." Sidou played with the paper napkin, his hands trembling. He finally spoke in a deep, broken voice. "I fell, Ibrahim, and no one gave me a hand. My father died the year of our exams. My mother lost the house. I tried to continue. I tried, but the street, it swallows you, and after that, the shame, you don't dare to come back." A heavy silence settled. Outside, the sky threatened rain. Ibrahim felt a dull pain in his chest, a mixture of guilt and anger against fate. He saw Sidou at 17, laughing, ambitious, brilliant even, always the first to defend the weakest. How had that boy ended up like this? And he, what had he done all this time? Had he even tried to find out? "Where do you sleep now?" he asked. Sidou shrugged. "A little everywhere, sometimes here, sometimes there. Never 2 nights in the same place. I avoid trouble." Ibrahim stood up, took out a bill, and placed it on the table. Then he looked Sidou straight in the eyes. "You're coming with me tonight. You're not sleeping outside, and tomorrow, we'll find a solution. The abandonment is over." Sidou opened his mouth to protest, but the words remained stuck. No one had spoken to him like that in years. This simple gesture, a room, a promise, would become the turning point of a future he thought was destroyed forever. Ibrahim's apartment, on the 10th floor of a secured building by the river, was the image of success. Polished parquet, bay window, modern art on the walls. Sidou remained standing near the door, arms down, eyes lowered. "Put down your bag, you can wash, there's hot water. And over there, that's your room." Ibrahim tried to keep a natural tone, but he saw the discomfort in Sidou's body, as if he were afraid to dirty anything, to exist in a world that no longer belonged to him. Sidou said nothing. He just went into the bathroom. Coming out a few minutes later, he wore one of Ibrahim's t-shirts, a bit too large. His features were clearer, but his eyes remained full of a distant look difficult to reach. They shared a simple meal. Rice with chicken. Ibrahim spoke little, observed a lot. Every gesture of Sidhu revealed years of deprivation. He chewed quickly, left nothing, drank as if he might lack water the next day. Don't you want to see a doctor or talk to someone? Ibrahim asked. Sidhu shook his head. Not now. Just let me sleep without fear. One night, that's all. And he went to bed. Ibrahim remained alone in the living room, his eyes fixed on the illuminated city. He thought of their youth in the alleys of Yopougon, of their dream to change the country. One had flown, the other had fallen. But why him? Why Sidhu? He understood that money was not enough, that a roof was just a beginning. In the bedroom, Sidhu, lying in a real bed for the first time in years, cried silently. Not joy, not sadness, just a painful relief. He still existed. And as the rain began to fall gently on Abidjan, a decision germinated in Ibrahim's heart. It was not a favor he was doing for Sidhu, it was a debt. The next morning, Ibrahim's phone did not stop vibrating. Messages, calls, notifications. Someone had posted the video of the traffic light, the one where he hugged Sidhu in front of the frozen traffic. And the moving, human scene had spread like wildfire. Some praised the gesture, others did not. At the office, the murmurs had started as soon as he entered. Kada, his associate, intercepted him as soon as he crossed the glass door. You know you're on the front page of several sites. It's good to want to help, but there are more discreet ways. You represent the company, Ibrahim. We have to be careful. Ibrahim clenched his jaw. He's my friend. What would you do if you found your brother on the street? Would you look away? Kada shrugged uncomfortably. Just be careful, clients don't like charity stories. It looks bad. Later, at lunch with investors, a remark fell disguised as a joke. Ibrahim, you're into social work now, are we opening a foundation? He smiled politely but inside he was boiling. That evening, back home, he found Sidhu sitting on the balcony, lost in the city lights. He held a clean shirt that Ibrahim had left him. Oh, you want me to leave, huh? Said Sidhu without turning his head. You have important people around you and I come from the dust. I'm in the way? Ibrahim sat next to him. You're not in the way? The world forgot you. I don't want to. But you have to help me get you out of this, not for others. For you. Are you ready? Sidhu closed his eyes for a long time. Then he slowly nodded, but neither of them knew yet that the path to dignity would be much harder than expected. The real test had not yet begun. 3 weeks had passed since Sidhu had left the street. He followed a simple routine. Breakfast, job interviews, reading, a few hours of volunteering at a community center that Ibrahim had introduced him to. Every evening, he returned exhausted but upright. The marks of the street were slowly fading, but attention remained, always ready to surface at the slightest sideways glance. One Tuesday morning, while Ibrahim was in a meeting with a group of European investors in his crocodile offices, he received an urgent call from his assistant. The police are here. They want to see you. There's been a theft. Apparently, someone used your badge last night to enter the premises and steal equipment. And they say the guard saw a man who looks like Sidhu. Ibrahim's world tilted in a second. He left the meeting in silence, his heart pounding, his face tense. At the station, Sidhu was already there, calm, his hands on his knees, flanked by 2 officers. It's not me, Ibrahim, I swear. I came home at 8:15 p.m. Ask old Musa from the center, he saw me leave. The commander shrugged. No formal accusation, but it's strange that he had your badge. And then, we have to say, his past speaks against him. Ibrahim looked Sidhu straight in the eyes. He saw no fear. He saw an old wound, revived, naked injustice. Did you check the cameras? Ibrahim asked. His voice was firm, cold. Not yet. That evening, the video showed a masked man, much stockier than Sidu. The case was closed, but the damage was done. The next day, several partners suspended their projects with Ibrahim's company. In the hallways, the looks had changed. Even some close ones pressed him to distance himself a bit from this story. Ibrahim returned home broken, not by the loss of money, but by the ease with which doubt had set in, by the silent violence his friends still had to endure. "Do you want me to leave, is that it?" Sidu asked, seeing him. Ibrahim looked at him for a long time, then replied, "You're not going anywhere. We'll face this together." The following days were silent, almost tense. Ibrahim continued to fight on several fronts, to restore the confidence of investors, to protect his company, to reassure his employees. But every evening, he found Sidu at home, always there, always standing. Sidu spent his days between the community center and the small missions he accepted without complaining, painting a wall, repairing a door, delivering meals. Nothing glorious, but he wanted to do his part. One afternoon, as he helped clean an abandoned building in the Kumasi neighborhood, an older woman watched him from the sidewalk. She finally approached him. Aren't you Sidu Konate? Dayete's son?" He nodded, surprised. "Your father saved me from a fire. When I was young, he was like you. Just, silent, strong. Do you want to work? My son is looking for someone reliable for the warehouse. Not paying millions, but it's honest." Sidu did not know what to say. For the first time in a long time, an opportunity did not come from Ibrahim. The next day, he started at the warehouse. Small jobs, handling, inventory. He arrived early, left late. And above all, he earned respect through work, through silence. A week later, Ibrahim received a call. "Mr. Traoré, this is Adamadi Quite, owner of the Kumasi warehouse, just to tell you, your friend, he's a gem. If I had 10 like him, I would sleep peacefully. You did well to give him a hand." Ibrahim hung up. That evening, when Sidu returned, Ibrahim was waiting for him with 2 cold beers. "You don't need me anymore now, huh?" he said with a smile. Sidu smiled in turn. "But I said something else. I will always need you, but not to survive. To move forward." They toasted not to the end of a fight, but to the beginning of an authentic, solid reconstruction. After a few weeks, Sidu's presence in Ibrahim's life was no longer a subject of controversy. It became a story, a pride. The traffic light video resurfaced, this time shared by an influential blogger with the comment, "And if success was also this, not forgetting." The reactions were very different this time. Young people from Yoppigan, Abobo, Makori commented with pride. Associations contacted Ibrahim to ask him to talk about reintegration, hope, but he refused TV appearances. He wanted Sidu to speak or no one. One day, at the community center, a 15-year-old boy was waiting for him. "Oh, is it true that you slept outside? Like me?" he asked Sidu. The latter smiled gently. "Yes, it's true." The boy looked at him for a long time, then asked, "Do you think I can get out of this too?" Sidu placed a hand on his shoulder. "If someone believes in you, and if you believe a little too." "Yes." Meanwhile, Ibrahim saw his circle change. Some former partners had distanced themselves. Others, more discreet, returned with newfound admiration. He understood that his act had filtered out the masks. What he had lost in opportunity, he had gained in truth. But not everything was resolved. An important position was offered to him in Dubai. A major turning point. A doubled salary, immense prestige, but without Sidu and without everything they had rebuilt together. That evening, the two friends found themselves, as always, on the balcony, beer in hand. Silence between them. "I've been offered a departure, very far, very high." Sidu did not respond immediately. Then he asked calmly, "And if you say no, what do you lose?" Ibrahim sighed. "Everything, maybe, but maybe nothing, actually." Sidu looked at him. "What we're building here, it's worth something, even if it's small." It's true. In the warm night of Abidjan, the silence that followed was a promise. 2 weeks passed. The Dubai contract was still waiting for Ibrahim's signature. He received calls every day, offers, promises, a new life, clean, bright, far from the noise, the questions, the looks. But every evening, he returned home, and every evening, he saw Sido stronger, more solid. He saw him laugh with the children of the center, help young people fill out their resumes, repair broken benches, comfort a tired mother. One morning, he summoned a notary, then an architect, then an old contact at the Abidjan town hall. 3 months later, in a renovated old warehouse in Tricheville, the Diabote House was inaugurated, named after Sido's father, a reception center, training, dignity for those who are no longer looked at, for those who want to get back up but don't know where to start. Sido was the director, a volunteer, present, respected. Ibrahim had invested his money, his name, and above all, his faith. On the day of the inauguration, he publicly declined the offer from Dubai. I'm not leaving because I believe we can change the world. Not by fleeing, but by repairing what we have here. Drop by drop, face by face. The cameras were there, the journalists too. But what mattered was this street boy who timidly raised his hand and asked Sido, "Do you think I can become someone too?" Sido squatted down, took his 2 hands. "You already are. You've just forgotten. We are here to remind you." And in the boy's eyes, in the silence that followed, in the calm beats of a bustling Abidjan, it was understood that what Ibrahim had done was much more than incredible. It was human, true, and contagious.